Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino. How's everyone doing? Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Christoph. Good morning, Tony. This is a good morning to just take off. I mean, this is a good day to take off. It's a Wednesday. You can go golfing, except if you're anywhere that's cold. How you doing, Patrick? Ready for this cold? I know I asked you that. You said you chopped some wood, but are you really ready for it? I mean, I am not ready for below zero temperatures next week. Good morning, Royal Palms. Uh, we got CPI numbers tomorrow. The SP's got a triple top. Lots of stuff's in consolidation. So there's not much to talk about. But we will do it anyways. This will probably be a quicker live stream. We have the mortgage information come out at 6 a.m. Central. Again, not much going on there. Wholesale inventories, 9 a.m. Very minor. EIA crude numbers, energy numbers coming out at 9:30. So if you're a crude or trade anything crude related, or oil related or energy related, that's about for you. 17 and 10-year note auctions, and Fed Williams speaking at 2:15 Central this afternoon. Let's see who else is here. Good morning, Christoph. Jow from Little Italy, Baltimore. Well, good morning, Richard. At a coffee shop. Well, what kind of coffee you having, Richard? Just a standard coffee or something not so standard? A Legion Reaver, and by not so standard, I mean something that is espresso, not espresso based. I have no idea. Chicago up 0-0. Yeah, Chicago. We're gonna. Boy, not this past Christmas, it was the year before. It was like below zero for multiple days, and then we're gonna hit below zero. Below zero on Monday, Tuesday overnight. With high, I think the high is going to be like 3 degrees. Espresso, there we go. Espresso, that's good man, Richard, good man. Cool 70 right now. Hey, Florida's got nice weather. I'm not a fan of humidity, but I have lived in Florida. I'm trying to just get back to Arizona. I'm like the hot and dry. Spoiled by the moderate winter. It has not been a bad winter, but I think that's going to somewhat change. All right, that's enough with the weather. This is not a weather channel, but I do follow the weather very closely, except when I lived in Arizona, because I didn't need to. With 300 plus days of sun a year, what's it going to do? Got to be hot. Good morning, Jacob. Trying to get back there still. All right, so not much going on today in terms of that. Mixed markets today, and NVIDIA keeps on chugging along. Mixed with the mega caps. Slight bounce in energy. Home Depot up over 1%, going to gap up, closing in on 350 again. So you have energy leading, followed by consumer cyclical, healthcare selling off. Everything else in between. Fed Watch tool. The good old Fed Watch tool, which has not changed much recently. Let's see where we sit. We're still at six cuts. 6 cuts still down to 375 to 4 by the end of December. Fear and greed still in the upper end of greed mode. Again, earnings, nothing before the open today. And there's KB Homes after the close. Infosys tomorrow before the open. But really, remember, earnings season kicks in Friday after tomorrow's CPI numbers. And the unemployment numbers, of course. What else we look? Hit the like button, my man. Thank you. Path Trading Weather Partners. Exactly. Tucson is nice. You know, I'm going to try to get it up to a little more north of the rim in Arizona. So get a little more seasonal weather, but we shall see. So yesterday I was looking, we got this double. Here's a little teaching moment for you. So you might be wondering, well, There's some doubles. Now, this didn't pull back far enough to invalidate it, but this is a clear triple top. And can it be traded on a higher time frame? That's what you got to ask yourself. So you look at the 4-hour. Triple top. So if we close below this point, now it is into a clear path move, so it is still a good potential sellable event if we were to close below 47.6750. But you can't use double targets. Now, why is this not tradable on a higher time frame? Because if we go to the daily, do you see any double here? Is there any clear rotation? No. There's no clear rotation setup. So that invalidates it right there. Since if there was a clear rotation, it could still be a valid setup, even though it's a triple on a 4-hour. It's a double on a daily, so that would require the double close, the close on the daily time frame below that. But since you don't have a clear rotation on the daily, and you have a triple on the 4-hour, there is no double. Hope that clarifies. Okay? And so we'll see what happens, but remember, a triple slightly favors a continuation event, slightly, only by a couple, 2-3 percentage points. But if we did close below here, let's say tomorrow, because we could be in more of a choppy consolidation, retesting some key ranges today with maybe a slight upwards bias. If we did close below this, especially tomorrow morning, what would I use? Well, I'd use these. Let's see what the highest is here. 4804, 4804, all right, 4804. I would use the 50% retracement from the lows on Friday the 5th to the highs on Wednesday the 10th. I'd use the 50% retracement as a stop reduction. If then we close below, see, the 62 could be a first profit taking area. Why? Because not only is this a 62.5% harmonic, it's also, look at the breakout level, the prior breakout level. And focus on breakout levels from candle bodies. So breakout level. Then below that, you could either go 75 or 87.5 depending on the momentum. But the end of the clear path technically is here. So you might want to look at the 75, and those could be good. So you don't have a double, but you could have a breakdown play. That's how I'd structure a breakdown play. Again, not trading advice. You still have to know your stops. You still have to analyze, but I'm trying to show, because it's quieter in the morning right now, how if we don't have a double pattern, how I'd potentially structure stop reduction and potential profit areas from a breakdown play. All right, hope that's helpful. To the upside. To the upside. Let's just go. So remember, it's not a guarantee. The probabilities have still shifted that we could see some higher price action here, even to the 75. I'm more focused on the 75 if we tap that up today. The slight breakout, get some people trying to chase a breakout ahead of the CPI numbers, and it falls back in the range. But 4806.75, 4807, 4816 if we get more momentum, then 4824 to 4829 is a very, very key cluster area that I will be focused on. Other than that, I'll look at comments in a second. Watching going into the open, this is about 47.87, 47.86 area, and then roughly down about 47.75 in the short term should it pull back first. Overall, we're still in a channeling corrective pattern. Based off the daily cycles, especially if we have an up close today, could be getting to the topping area going into the CPI numbers, with weeklies still heading down. So pay attention. We could be, again, you don't have to top out right after the CPI number, but there could be setting up for some rollover plays. Sorry, throat's dry. What else? Chicago's colder than Canada. Well, it depends on what part of Canada. Again, I lived in Toronto, and Chicago's actually got worse weather than Toronto. Now, Parts of Ottawa. Now, Vancouver has better, way better weather than Vancouver's much like Seattle. But parts of Ottawa and Calgary, I mean, really Calgary, they're going to get hammered with the cold. They are getting hammered with the cold. Calgary is way colder than Chicago. Weather Channel. No, that's not a potential 4 hour. I went into that. So I hope that makes sense, Christoph. Because it's not it's not present on the daily. So that's the teaching moment. NASDAQ still no close above the 62.5 on the daily. The 4 hour eked out a slight close at the European Open before this little pullback. I'd still rather see daily confirmation, but NASDAQ next target higher, 16,957. Remember, higher time frames increase the probabilities. That's why a 1 hour close is stronger than a 5 hour close, a 5 minute close, a 4 hour stronger than a 1 hour, a daily is stronger than the 4 hour, a weekly stronger than a daily. But we did finally get the 4 hour close, but not yet the daily above this level. Trading going into the open, I'm really paying attention to about 16.8. 16.8 into the open. And then if you do break down from there, if we do break down, very key level support is a 16.725. Key resistance would be the 16.9. I mean, NASDAQ's setting up real easy with the round numbers. Dailies getting not yet to cycle top area. Weekly still headed down. The Dow, it's still nothing going on. Still no potential daily double. Anyways, you got this mess going on anyways. Dow inside bar still for Monday. So I'm actually watching just yesterday's low and high on the Dow. Russell, I'm watching major resistance 2006. Key support coming down just a bit to about 1968. Other than that, based off where we are, not much going on there. Well, some days there isn't much going on. I'd say flat to slightly up. We still might get an upward bias. Unless something comes out that's really a catalyst. Because there just aren't setups. There's some days there's not great setups, and this is one of them. And you don't just see it in the stock indices. I mean, you see it in VIX. Not much to talk about here. Back down below 13. The DAX. Look, the DAX still caught in consolidation. I mean, this is essentially a huge doji since Friday the 8th. If you take the close from Friday the 8th and where it's trading now, it's essentially a huge doji. It's gone nowhere. DAX, nothing either. Breakdown level still 16,665. Minor breakout level is about 16,975. The notes, slight upward bias, but we're still in Friday's bar. We're still inside bar just so far. Now, today's not done yet, but this is the third inside bar. So far, 2 confirmed. You still have not taken out Friday's high. So I'm still keying off of Friday's high to the upside and to the low. It's 111.23. Not great setups there. 10-year. You have a wonderful stinking triangle pattern. My least favorite pattern of all. 398 roughly breakdown level, but then I just looking for 393. If it could even get there. 395 is the next key support that defines its initiating point to the triangle pattern. Other than that, nothing. I mean, this is a whole lot of nothing. 10-2s briefly trying to get above 25, but just basing sideways right at this 25 level. So I'm really curious to watch this tomorrow morning. Dollar index, still an inside day from Friday. Look at it. I mean, key resistance coming in about 102.25, 26. Key support coming in at 101.70. Other than that, nada. Crude, slight bounce today, but in consolidation. Coiling up, I mean, there'll be a lot of people that will talk about a triangle pattern here. But again, look, you break above here, your next key stopping point is 74. And you're a long way from the breakdown, so you got a lot of support points in there. Okay, so that's where we sit right now. Not much in crude. Besides, and I'm talking on the bigger perspective. There might be some micro intraday trading patterns, but there's not much even to just lean on from a higher time frame. Natty gas cycle starting to roll over, so I'm just watching where it pulls back. Yesterday, very wide range day. Today, an inside day so far. Key support coming in about 294. Gold, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'll sit up and take notice. Don't know if it's going to happen today. Don't think it will happen today. But if we close below that 50, I'll watch for at least a shorter term, bigger pullback. Sorry for the boring markets. Now, the yen is actually could be interesting. Confirming the double, couple day pullback, it looks like it could trigger today. Looks like it's also, so we had a series of lower highs and lower lows. Higher high compared to December 19th. Higher low compared to the 28th to the 9th. So let's see if this confirms the double today. That's about the only interesting thing on my radar. Euro, still inside data Friday. Not much to talk about. Pound, absolutely nothing to talk about. Here's another nearly doji since the end of November. Gone a whole bunch of nowhere. Slight upwards bias. Slight upwards channel. If I could draw a channel correctly. Slight upwards channel, but look. Oh, geez. Forget it. But not much. Look at this level from end of November. End of November. We're trading slightly above that. A whole lot of nowhere with an upwards bias. Spiders does have a valid double, whereas this is still valid on the daily. It's still valid on the 4 hour because we don't use pre and post market. But you can see here, it's definitely this has the rotation in it. I'm not talking this area. I'm talking this. On the shorter term, this is not a double. Why? There's no clear rotation. The 1 hour is probably into the open. You have a little rotation here, but one into the open is going to be a triple. And you look at that 4 hour, the key point would be this low, 471.36, but you can't trade it as a double. I'd be using the same way I showed retracements to come up with targets. So above 474.77, even going into tomorrow, if the market rallies in with the CPI print, 476.16. Your harmonics, you got a cluster, 475.99 to 476.16. Right now, slight gap up, very slight gap up. It could be at filled even before the open. The key support coming into the open is about 473. And then you got 472, 471.95. Qs, still yesterday, no close above the 62.5. We'll be watching to see how that today. We still have the gap left behind. But the next key target on any rally, especially tomorrow morning, is 408.53. And then the gap fill to 409.52. The key support, slight gap up this morning, very slight. The key support's coming in roughly about 404.95 to 405. And then we're looking down around 403.40 to 403.50. Do I ever draw body? Not what pattern, yes. We draw bodies from. For standard trend lines, we don't. For best fit lines, you can. For triangles, if they're going to be best fit triangles, you can incorporate candle bodies. For the starting points, I would stick with the wicks. Legion. Yeah, and you have today's expirations also on the short-term options. Bitcoin, which I forgot for Kalani yesterday. Sorry, Kalani, if you're tuning in later. We had the little reversal move with the SEC's X account / Twitter getting hacked, announcing it is also the potential approval day for the ETFs. We'll have to see. Their account was hacked yesterday with the ETF approval stuff, which was false because they didn't have on two-factor authentication. Our government's full of... Can we just get rid of all these friggin' useless organizations that don't do crap anymore, since we just suck up taxpayers and don't do anything? But still, the key level is 48,922 on a closing basis. What's interesting with the fake announcement yesterday, the immediate reaction before it came out that it was fake was a sell-off. So is this going to be a sell the news event? It's still... Just watch 40,000 though for a breakdown pattern if you're watching Bitcoin. Nvidia closing yesterday just below the next harmonic. Remember, we're trying to find an area where it could potentially top out. If we run through the highs of 543, my next target is just 550. Because we don't have a decent enough pausing bar yet. We could be getting one maybe this morning, at least on the 4-hour, but nothing yet. Tesla just barely holding on to key support. So if we break the key support, this is a 231 area. We still have a gap left behind, and that's about it. How's this a double on the yen? Where's my yen? Because of the extended way down, this is not a triple, because this is lower and this is lower. There's an advanced rule on that. So this is technically a double, with this being the left-hand side and this being the right-hand side, because it's stair-step down and it's still within range here. Now, if this was if this had not extended below and been up here with, roughly in line with this, it would have been a modified triple. There you go, Christoph. What else? If you're watching Apple, which so far the cycles are still going up, but has not been able to get above this 185.50 area, that's what I'm still watching. It's only filled the one gap. That's the key area. If it can't get behind there and we eventually break down below the 200, that'll get real interesting. There's another mega cap breaking down then, and then closes below 178.40. So keep an eye on Apple, even if you're not trading it, over the next little bit. All right, don't need to keep dragging this long. Let's just look at the open. Again, it's key level. 47.87 going into the open. You're welcome, Christoph. 47.87, just trying to incorporate some more teaching into this so everybody can do this without me. 47.87 into the open. And first area is this 4,800 to 4,802 on any bounce. Again, I'm leaning towards choppier unless a tick shows me something different. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now. I'll see you after the CPI print. Remember, 7:30 Central tomorrow. Do not be sleeping. Do not be sleeping. With that, talk to everyone later. Bye for now.